Hey there, everybody. Welcome. I'm Shell Brodnax, and here's another episode of Stager Talk. And I'm super excited today because I have a first-time guest today, Ashley Tapley. How are you?
I am doing very well. I'm super excited to be here. A little nervous, but excited.
Yeah. You're going to be old hat at this because I have a feeling since I've looked at your website before the show, and if in case everybody's wondering out there, Ashley is actually the winner of the occupied staging category in the United States. So well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And
Thank
I have
you.
a feeling that you're going to be old hat at this pretty soon because next year you got to enter again and you're just going to rack them up from what I can see. Do some
I
really
hope
nice
so.
work.
Thank you. And I stage all categories. So I do vacant, occupied, consultations, short-term rentals, and interior design. So I
Love
do
it.
it
And where are
all.
you
Yeah.
located?
I'm in Aptos, California, which is on the Monterey Bay, kind of
Yep.
in the center of California, but on the coast.
Yep, I
So
know
we
it.
get to do a lot of coastal homes, golf course homes, that kind of thing.
I love it. I love it. Now, you actually just started your business during the actual pandemic. So how was that starting for you?
Well, I started doing some schooling in like late 2018, and I had a full-time job, and so I started, but they knew I was transitioning over to do full-time staging and own my own business. They were super supportive, which was great. And so I started to take on small projects. And when my company kind of blew up, it was the pandemic. And so it was really weird and scary, and, the masks, and it was just a whole interesting thing because a big part of what I do is we kind of do mini flips before we stage. And so, picking out paint colors and faucets, and we're working with construction crews and all of that. And so it was a little dicey with the masks and needing to go to Home Depot and all that. It was interesting times.
I bet. So do you have a lot of resistance when you make those types of suggestion changes to your clients, or do they pretty much jump on board with you?
So it's kind of a mixed bag, but I'm really, really lucky to have found several real estate partners, and they know what I do. They fully believe in me. They pay me for a pre-sale consultation for every one of their listings, even if we're not going to stage it. And they're like, what do you see? What should they do to get ready for sale? So the owners aren't paying for it. And so the pushback would be if they think their house is fine, they just spent a lot of money on that 15 years ago, that kind of thing. And I try to educate them on what buyers are looking for and how to get top dollar, and they usually fall in line.
I love that. I will tell you, I get asked all the time, we have a CE course for real estate agents that teaches them about staging, but not how to stage. And we have this is how you can change your listing presentation. And I've been in this industry for over 2 decades now. And they ask me, well, what do I say? How do I get my clients to get it? And I'm like, it's not your job for your clients to get it from you. It's the stager's job to sell you. But all you got to do is sell the stager. So the correct script is, she's coming, do as much as that she asks you to do as you possibly can. And the closer you get to 100% of that, the better off you're going to be. And when they do that with that confidence, it really sets you up as that expert. And so you get less pushback because they already know, look, my agent's recommending this. They work with this stager all the time. They wouldn't recommend this if it wasn't needed, or, we should at least get the consultations, see what she has to say. And then, you can add into where you actually do the work, or they just do the work if it's an occupied. And then also even on the vacants, it works equally as well with that, because again, they're just setting you up for success by letting the client know that you aren't just a service provider. People that you hire, you can fire, so to speak, but you are the expert. And I think they view people like you differently.
Yeah. And so I just feel so blessed that I've met these real estate agents that see the power of staging, know it sells the house faster, they get more money. They're fiduciaries. It's their responsibility to try to help them get the most amount of money. And that's by bringing in a stager and trying
Yeah.
to help the house along.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's interesting is that they are fiduciaries and they should be. I always have the saying that every client has the right to be told about staging. It's their right to accept it or not, but they should absolutely be educated on the subject matter. I think it should be, personally, I think it should be mandatory, but that's a lot of regulations out there. But
Right.
they do have, I think, an obligation to let them know. And if they want to take it, great. If they don't, that's okay too.
Yeah. So I'm lucky.
That's awesome. I'm glad that you found that for yourself out there. How's the short-term rental market where you are in the Monterey Bay and the Peninsula?
It's great. And it's an area that I'd really like to dive into. I've done a few. I did one in Seattle. I did one here. It was my college roommate's mom. And so when I was staging, I'm like, oh my gosh, I went to her place and it was so bad. And I'm like, you've got to, if you ever want to decorate, you've got to hire me. And my friend's like, she won't spend a penny. And then like 6 months later, I get a phone call and said she's getting bad reviews, that the place has the best view and it's really, dated. And so
Yeah.
I got to do that, and that was great. And then a real estate agent here that I stage for, and I do some interior design for her. She took me to Hawaii, and she bought a 3-acre compound with 8 properties on it, and I got to pick out paint colors, and some of them are short-term rentals, like for a month long, and I got to do all of that, which was fantastic. And I've been back there a couple times.
Now that I would love to do. So just so
Hmm.
anybody who's ever watched me knows that doing the actual staging work, I'm not a big fan of. I mean, I've done it, I can do it, just does not excite me. The business end excites me. But I'm not gonna lie, the short-term rental, when I think about all that, I think what I'd actually like about that the most is being able to tell those clients, especially if they're new to investments on that level, is why you need to do the certain things, why you want your towels all to be like this. Here's the policies you want to have. Here's the procedures you want to follow. This is the types of furniture you're going to want. And, don't get those Mickey Mouse children beds, the pipe bedding that all fits together with the thin, tiny mattress, and, how important pillows are, and, all that type of stuff that gets you the bad reviews. Because I've done short-term rentals for like the last 6 years, and there's nothing. When I go and I look at those photos, I'm looking at those bedding photos, and if I'm seeing photos of thin pillows, as thin means mites. That's
Hmm.
what that means. It's weighted down by bugs and mites on the inside, and they're not flipping those. So it's just so disgusting to me. But those are the things that I've now come to know to look for. And if you're going to advertise it like as a business retreat, a printer would probably be a great idea, to have an on-site printer. And you can supply extra things like extra ink or paper, things to make people feel more at home.
Definitely. And so the market here, I mean, we have a lottery. Not everybody can have a short-term rental here because they want to have housing available for people that live here. But there are a lot of vacation rentals, and it is a space that I would like to get into because it's like staging, but you don't have to undo it. You don't have to
Right.
stage, and you
So
can have a
creative.
little more fun with it. And so in Hawaii, it was really fun. It had to be very creative because shopping is difficult over there. We had a bunk bed built. It was like a 600-pound solid wood bunk bed that had a queen bed below. A 6-foot person could stand in that, and the bed could be flipped either way. And then the top was a full-size loft bed, and it's just killer. And it was in this octagon shaped building, and so that was super challenging. Is like I got all the measurements of the octagon and the post in the middle, and it was like, where are we going to put a dining table, where, and it needed to sleep 5, where are we going to put the day bed, where's this bunk bed going? And how do we go about it? And so we did all this pre-work of floor planning and ordering rugs and furniture because we could tell from the floor plans what the sizes would be. And that's where my design background comes in handy. And so then we just Wayfair and Amazon and shipped all sorts of stuff and had things built, and it was really fun.
I love that. You actually perk up when you talk about the short-term rental, about how
Yeah.
much fun they are.
Yeah, super, super fun. And then another client of mine, I staged for her. And then when she sold her house, I helped her move 3 times, and she hires me every time she moves. And I have a notebook of her furniture, and I know we get the measurements. So I tell her where everything goes. She has me there on moving day. And I'm like telling them, okay, this goes here, that goes there. I hang her art and get her kind of set up on moving day. And she has a place in Kauai, and she took me there for a week, and we styled her place as well.
I love that. That's not a bad gig you've got going for yourself right there.
I know. It's amazing. It's been a really wild ride because I had the same job, or a job at the same company, I should say, for 25 years. And it was my uncle's business, and it was a chain of thrift stores. And it was a national chain of thrift stores. And so I did marketing, public relations, advertising, merchandising, employee training, just whatever, on the business end for this company. And that's sort of where I get my resourcefulness, is working with thrift and merchandising with thrift. You've got to make a lot of things that don't go together look like they go together, and they have to look valuable.
Yeah. And I would think also with the business skill sets, you talk to a lot of people in the industry, which is very right brain, left brain. You've got your really creative people, and sometimes, not all, but sometimes the creatives don't have the other side with the analytics. And in my case, it's kind of the vice versa. I mean, I have creative, but it's a different kind of creative, where you clearly have both. So that's one thing where your resourcefulness and even growing the business and being able to build those relationships, your past job has had to have helped you be able to navigate these relationships and that are clearly working for you. Next time, go big. Let's go. Where do we want to send you? Where do we want to send you? Scotland. Start thinking about big places where you want to go. And I bet you anything you'll manifest it.
I know, that's true. I should think about where I want to go and then start looking for someone that needs help, and take a
Because
little
some of
vacation.
these clients that have places in Hawaii, they have friends in Scotland. They've got friends in France. So just decide where is it that you want to go, make a little vision board for it, and I bet it'll happen. And then I'll have you back on the show and you can talk about that too. That would be good.
That would be fun. And I have this little fantasy. My husband and I talk about retiring and getting a Sprinter van and driving across the country and just kind of seeing the country. And I have this little fantasy, like if I can get my Instagram big enough and if I have enough followers from all over, I could possibly, as I'm going through, pick up some, design consultations or something, and just kind of have fun with it.
Yeah,
Meet people along the
absolutely.
way.
Yeah. And then when you're posting and you're like, hey, my client flew me out here to Hawaii and this is true. And this is what we did. And now I'm in Scotland. You're like the traveling stager designer. I
Kind of
love it.
fun.
I know, right? So if you're going to design space just for the average homeowner, just not for selling, but just do a redesign of their own home versus staging, do you have a preference between the two?
I mean, vacant staging is really fun, where you can just kind of go in. You don't have to ask anybody permission, that you don't have to get their buy-in. You just get to do all of that. So that's pretty fun. But there is something about helping people turn their homes into a place that they really enjoy, and it nurtures them. And I've had people, even just with like a quick design consultation, which is like 2 hours, and then I give them notes and I just kind of go through, and they tell me what's not working for them and what they like. And we might even, move furniture on the spot and identify things. Okay, buy this and take this out, and let's style this way. And I had one client, and she's like, I used to hate my house and I love my house. She's like, in 2 hours, you have changed how I feel about my house.
Do you find that more people that want your design services, not for selling, are more people that may have already used like an interior decorator in the past, or their homes are actually decorated just one style, or they really have like no style and there's been no attempts made whatsoever and they're hiring you for first time? Is there a difference between the type of client?
They usually have some style because they care and they want to get there. Um, a lot of Some have worked with interior decorators. A lot of my clients haven't. I'm pretty down to earth and don't like all this fuss and the glamour and, perceived snootiness or whatever. And so I think I'm pretty approachable. And and so that gets me kind of down to earth clients that just want their space to feel better. And sometimes it's, decorating and rugs and sofas and lamps and all of that. And sometimes, like I was just texting with my client, it's a full bathroom remodel and I've got to meet her at the tile store to pick out grout. And so it just runs the gamut with what I'm doing. But I think that um, most of them, yeah, not much designer experience.
Yeah. I think that's just so cool though, that because you do have a very authentic demeanor about yourself. So I would imagine, again, this helps as well with getting people to, be able to pull them along to get them to understand, because you are never nobody's ever going to look at you and say it's somebody I'm being sold to.
Mhm.
It's just a no, this is a benefit. I'm here to help you. It's a totally different approach. So you're very authentic and that comes across really as warm and inviting. So congratulations.
Thank you. And then the circle of life of my business, I think of the Lion King and the whole circle of life, but it's really started out with staging and doing some color and design elements. And then those realtors hire me for their own homes, which is great because then they tell everyone they know and they know a lot of people. And then the people selling hire me to go help with their house when they move. And sometimes the people that bought the house hire me to come back and help them. And so, and then they tell their aunts and uncles and parents, and it's just like this web that just has grown. It's been a little overwhelming at times because it's really taken off and it's exciting, but it has been overwhelming at times where I'm working until midnight, 7 days a week. And it's just like, I can't sustain this. And the phone, at one point I took my phone number off my website because I just couldn't
Oh,
handle
what
it.
problems to have. Everybody else is going, please stop her right now, Shell. We don't even want to hear this part of it.
And
But
then I put it back up within 2 days. I'm like, okay, I had a moment.
you had a
That's not
break.
good.
It's all right. It's all good. But it's a good problem to be able to have, because here's the thing, how many stagers are out there and saying, how do I get referrals? Up your game. Because this is the thing, it's like, I don't think that you're necessarily calling people, 6 hours a day going, can I have a referral? Can I have a referral? Can I have a referral? They're probably it's very happening very naturally because the scope of your work and the experience that you're giving to people, you've got to be hitting every single mark on everything, all what a customer experience should be. We talked a lot at RESACon this year about the customer experience. Terry Watson was one of our speakers and David Avron just wrote a book on it. And it's, you got to be hitting those marks, because otherwise the referrals would not be coming that quickly and that often and unasked for, and where you're not beating down doors of people. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been really fortunate. And when I started my business, I have some local friends that are real estate agents, and I floated the idea by them, and they said, absolutely, we'll hire you if you do it. It's great. And one of them was an office manager at a real estate agency, and she told everyone, you've got to hire Ashley. And so I had some really big cheerleaders when I started, and that has been it was everything to me
That's
to
awesome.
have that.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. Well, you've done a really great job. Tell everybody, if agents or homeowners are in the Monterey Aptos area in California, what is your website? How can people reach you?
Okay, so my website is housecandyhome.com. and they can reach me through my website. Email's my preferred way to reach me because I'm usually out on calls a lot during the day. And then I have an Instagram. It's house.candy.home, and I give design tips and staging tips every Tuesday. So follow that. I have a lot of fun with that. And that's a great thing that other stagers can do. I have more people that stop me and just say, you're so consistent with your Tuesdays. You do it every Tuesday. I look forward to Tuesday. And it's like, really? Okay. It's really cool. And so it's something that I implemented about a year or so ago, and people love it. And when I, run into realtors, they're like, oh my gosh, I loved that tip. So they're watching.
Yeah, I love it.
You
And do
have
you
to
have
give.
employees?
You
Yeah,
have
you
to
do.
give. You
You
have to,
do. You
yeah.
absolutely do. Do you have employees?
No, I have no employees. I have one. I have a really great moving company, and I have really great staging assistants that are just consultants. And I've made the choice that I don't want to grow my company bigger than it is. I like what I'm doing, and I don't need more. I'm super happy with where I am.
I'm amazed that you're able to juggle it all. So your consultants must be incredibly helpful on your movers. And so you've
So
got a
good.
good team and just it's all
Mhm.
working. Well-oiled machine, as I like to call it.
Yeah, so good. And we don't do a ton of staging, a couple a month. I do a lot of design. The design's more of the profit center of my business because it doesn't have any costs, which is really nice. And so, I've started this company and wanted just to make a living and make people happy and do design, and I feel like I've done that, and I'm content with where I am.
I like what you said, make people happy. We always, in business as entrepreneurs, there's the concept of what is your why? Why is it that you're doing what it is that you're doing? And the most successful people that I know, their why always has a similar thread, and it's giving back.
Mhm.
It's helping others. And when you come at from that perspective, it's amazing the doors that open up for you and the magic happens.
Yep.
All right. Well, congratulations, Occupied Staging United States winner right here. Congratulations. Well done. I'm really looking forward to see what you have coming up in the next few years. And I imagine this will probably not be our last time speaking, and hopefully you have lots more words in the future.
Great. It was so nice to meet you.
You as well. Thank you. And for
Okay.
everybody else, until next time, happy staging, everybody. Thanks.